Hello all, welcome to study 78 of the Solving Studies to Improve Chess Calculation series. This study comes from a very important chess composer, Ladislav Prokeš. He was a chess master and one of the most prolific composers ever. In fact, he was the fourth ever in quantity of compositions after Ernst Pogosian, after Henry Rink and Alexei Troitsky, so he is among the best. He produced around 1,244 endgame studies according to a book collection that he published in 1951. He was also a very strong player. In fact, he was part of the Czech Olympiad team in three occasions, and he even was the one that created the so-called Prokeš maneuver, which is a position. I'm going to show it here. Let me just change the screen. This is the extra for this study. This position shows the Prokeš maneuver, which tells us how to draw with a rook in a rook versus pawn in games. I have a series about it. I don't think I have covered this there. Well, it's a hole that maybe this one can cover. And so the position goes here. It's white to play and try to draw against two advanced pawns. Of course, if the pawns both reach the seventh rank, it's a game over. And over here, I don't want to lose much time with this because, of course, we are here to solve the main endgame study from Prokeš. But okay, let's see it. The king approaches, then the pawn attacks our rook, checking the king, then the king hides away. Now we approach again our king, and now the pawn advances. And this is almost lost cause. But then it comes the Prokeš maneuver that he showed in this study. He also composed this one in 1939, same year of the study I am bringing here for us to solve. And this goes now with sacrificing the rook to c4 check. Of course, the king can take the rook because if it takes the rook, then we take the pawn, and then we are also controlling the promotion of the other. So the king goes to d3, but again, we offer the rook, and as soon as the king accepts, we take one pawn, and then we got this stalemate draw, which is very interesting from the starting position. Okay, this was the an example of the Prokeš maneuver, but now let's come back to the main study. Okay. Uh, as always, if you haven't, I suggest you watch the guide so you are better prepared for the practice. So you can extract the best from the time you are going to invest. The countdown will start, and after it, I will come back again with a solution as always. And here we are, and as always, let's start with the first right move. Bishop d6, brilliant one. White is going to win this one. At starting position, we immediately can see that white is in a very serious disadvantage, material disadvantage. And if white makes a single mistake, it's game over. It's not only a draw. Okay, there are some positions for a draw, but mostly white will be losing. And the idea here, then, we need to go directly to the king. We need to give some kind of checkmate or something that forces black to sacrifice or give up all the pieces, basically, so we can win. So we may start calculating this one, but this is not a good one because the king can simply escape. Now there's no more progression. It's game over. Black here is playing for the win, not white. Uh, what else? If I try to deliver a check from the front, well, there will be no progression because, of course, now the bishop is attacked and the king is, of course, going to either way. If it comes here, then it goes away like this, and if it comes back, like for example over here, then black can simple, let's say, this is enough, just protecting along the last rank, and this is, of course, at least black won't lose this one. Uh, After a while, we need to consider other moves, like for example, let's say going with the threat of the discover check. This is a possible move, but of course here the king just moves away. Next move is going to reach b7, f7. Sorry, there's no way the king comes because now the black pieces will start to activate, and there is a lot going on. But black has more pieces, and there's no clear path for the win, and so even if it's by elimination of the possibilities, this is not, of course, the better one. Let's see other moves like sorry for this. Let's start from the starting position, like removing the bishop. So the idea is to come with the rook. Well, but here again, the king came out very fast. Now here we simply can protect last rank, and there's no more progression for white. One last possible move is to remove to b4. Okay, this one is more dangerous, uh, but of course black can simply protect the back rank. But now, of course, I still can try some things over here with check. Then the king comes and I attack the rook. The idea is I am going to threat something in these lines, so the rook goes to a8. Now I check it, and then I am threatening a discover check, and with checkmate if it goes over here. But of course now black, okay, needs to find probably the only move, but it's not that hard. It's a bit forced. So rook a6. Now we are pinning the bishop. So only way is to the discover check, protecting the bishop. But of course, even here, black can simply sacrifice, and now our bishop is attacked, and there's a checkmate over there. But simply bringing the bishop to c4 and protecting. So if the rook attacks, now I can block it, and uh, there's not enough material advantage to white to win. So over here, after we consider all these options, we are going to see that this one is a brilliant one because not only allows the rook to come to attack the king, threatening checkmate, but also avoids that the black rook can reach the last rank protecting the king. So over here, it's black to move, and of course now there are basically two options. Either the king tries to come away, or the rook needs to go and work to block the king when it's going to get the check from our rook. Let's see first what happens if the king tries to move away. This is the most logical move that we should calculate. Of course, here checking is a mistake because the king just leaves the corner, and there's no way I can get more a win from that. So I need to go to the other side. So I need to go checking from the front. So g7 check. The king needs to come back. Now we need to think a bit. What can we do to deliver more threats? Of course, we need to go with the rook to f7. So again, we are threatening checkmate. The idea being, if the king comes to g8, we simply checkmate. We are supported by the bishop. So black here needs also to think. Taking the bishop, of course, is not enough because checkmate is direct. So the only way black can escape here immediately is to play, of course, again rook g5. So the idea is to block the checkmate with rook going to g8. But of course, if I check it now, this is a blunder because the rook blocks and there's no more progression for white, which is very bad. And it's going to lose probably. So here the maneuver that we need to find is to go with the bishop attacking the f6 pawn. So we start with e7. So we are now threatening to take the pawn and then deliver checkmate. Okay, so we are now threatening check, the rook blocks, and then checkmate. And there's not much black can do over here. What else? If let's say over here, it's already hard to find a solution because the rook can't cover them all. There's no way we can protect this pawn. If the king tries to escape, it's a checkmate, and I don't know. There's no chance over here. Uh, I'm trying to think, but okay, it's impossible. It's impossible. Anyway, we can try black is lost after this move, but of course we need to find this one. Okay, let's get back, and this was the solution if the king tries to escape. But the other one is when the rook comes to block the checkmate. Of course, here we need to think a bit. It's not easy. And the solution goes with we still give the check. So the only possible move for black is to block it. And now we need to find another brilliant move. And the move is bishop f8. Brilliant. Because, of course, we are threatening a checkmate as the rook won't be able to take the bishop because it will be pinned with our own rook, and of course the king can take the bishop because it's protected, so it's game over. Of course here black can delay, otherwise it's mate in one, and the only way to delay is to sacrifice the rook. So with the rook g6 check, we take the rook, and the last thing we need to pay attention, as always, after this check we can't go back, because if we go back, well, it's simply going to escape, and there's not enough material to win from here. So the king needs to take the pawn, and of course now it's going to be easy. I simply remove my king from the corner, but we use the bishop, and now we are threatening checkmate over here. There's no move, just some any move is going to be checkmate. And if the king goes to the other side, well, we remove the bishop with check in this situation. The king comes back, and then it's a checkmate. Uh, I hope you have enjoyed. This was a good calculation exercise for sure. And as always, I see you in future studies. Bye bye.